everyone, welcome back to Callie and Beans Books. I'm Brittany, and today it is time for my July book corner. I am still on the kick of listening to books more so than reading them, but I did get quite a bit of listening done this month. Overall, I really did enjoy a lot of the books that I've completed. I will go through some of the audiobooks, but most of them I'm going to dedicate to a specific video later in August, just around audiobooks that I've listened to, especially the ones that are included in the Audible subscription. So these are the books that I've listened to that came with the Audible subscription. I've really enjoyed them as a whole, but I will dive more in depth later on in August. I also don't remember exactly the order I listened to everything in. I know I started finishing up with the Grishaverse, which I did complete. I'm just going to kind of blanket talk about them. So I finished listening to Siege and Storm, which is the second, and Ruin and Rising, which is the third and finale of the Shadow and Bone Grishaverse, and this is by Leigh Bardugo, of course. Overall, pretty disappointed with these. I gave Siege and Storm a 3, and Ruin and Rising is a 3.5 for me. Overall, I felt like the story kind of took a turn for the worse going forward in the second one. I was really into the magic system and the characters and really excited on where the journey was headed. In Siege and Storm, the beginning was really eventful. And then we had this large lull of, we didn't really know what was happening. There were a lot of moments where I'm just like, I don't really know what the goal is here. And I felt like I was really drawn out, almost kind of like second book syndrome in a way, where I'm just not a huge fan of how everything was starting to shape up. And then we get the ending, and I think it was a perfect ending for the second book, setting up a lot of loss and hatred and where do we go from here. And then it led to the opening to the third one, which was amazing. I really did enjoy the setup to the third one. There was some frustration where I didn't really understand what was happening, and then it kind of clicked. And I was like, okay, this makes sense, and I really do enjoy the way this is going. And then just one thing after another, there were a lot of events where I'm like, okay, this makes sense. And then we would get a reveal that didn't make sense. Also, Nikolai deserved better. Overall, that is basically summarizing my thoughts on Ruin and Rising is Nikolai deserved better, and the ending was a joke. That's basically how I feel. So overall, I was pretty disappointed. Maybe my experience was a little different because I am so late to the party and I could have read these books instead of listening to them. Maybe that's where I went wrong with this experience, but overall, I was fairly disappointed with the second and third. I do want to read the other books part of the Grishaverse just to kind of see what else is out there. Maybe it's different, but overall, I'm just disappointed with the way the Shadow and Bone trilogy ended. So the other books that I listened to this month, also included in Audible Plus, were the Once Upon a Con series, and that of course includes Geekerella, Princess and the Fangirl, and Bookish and the Beast, all by Ashley Poston, and they're all companion novels. They all follow their own plots and their own characters, but we're introduced basically to almost everybody in the first one, and then slowly other main characters are introduced in the second and third. So overall, I absolutely adored these books. Geekerella, I gave a 4 out of 5. Princess and the Fangirl, more of a 3.5 for me, and then Bookish and the Beast, I would say it's also a 4. I absolutely adored that one. That one was definitely my favorite, but there's always going to be a part of me that enjoyed the Geekerella story as well. It was perfect. I think tying in fairy tales to these adorable love stories were amazing. The only thing is with Princess and the Fangirl was I didn't really like the way Jess and Imogen were introduced. I thought their characters were very whiny and kind of annoying, so it was a little difficult for me to get into their stories, but after a while they kind of grew on me and I was like, okay, I kind of understand. And then tying it up with Bookish and the Beast was so well done. I absolutely adored that one. I think Vance's character was written perfectly, and I also think that just the way the ending of that story wrapped up everybody's stories was really well done. I do want to read the short stories that go along with the main story counterparts. I just have to find them. I was a little hesitant to jump into them, but after I got into it, it was so well done, and I'm very happy that I picked these up and was able to read them this month. So going forward, I do have pretty much the same books that I have mentioned before. I'm still reading First Comes Like by Alisha Rai. It's just in the other room. And I do have a list of other adult romances that I do want to read. It's just, I don't know what order. I'm not really sure how much time I'm gonna have. I am finishing up a couple of other audiobooks that I'm listening to, but overall I am still in that adult romance kick right now. There's just something about fantasies just not piquing my interest at this time. It's probably gonna be more of a fall, like starting to get back into it in October, because I'm a mood reader, and when it's sunny and beautiful outside, I don't know what it is. I think romance. So with it getting into the spooky season here shortly, that's probably when I'll jump back into the fantasy books. That's just kind of where I'm at with my reading. I don't really have a set TBR at this point. The next part of my book corner today is unhauling a stack of 10 books. All of these are books that I have read. I think there's one in there that I haven't, but overall they're just books that I am no longer connecting with and I don't plan on rereading. So the first one is Hunted by Megan Spooner. This is a Beauty and the Beast retelling. I read it. It was very unique. I really enjoyed it. However, it's just not something I'm going to go back and reread. The next ones, they're just the mediocre. Like, I enjoyed it, but I don't really think I'll ever reread it again. And that is The Stars We Steal by Alexa Dunn and Sorcery of Thorns by Margaret Rogerson. Now, both of these stories I did enjoy. I thought they were very unique and a lot of fun, but then there's just aspects where I'm just like, I'm kind of bored. Another book is Ink in the Blood by Kim Smitchko. I didn't like this story, so it's going away. I thought I was going to enjoy it. It was a really interesting concept, and the beginning was really intriguing. There was just so many moments where I'm like, I have no idea if I actually like this, and at the end I'm like, I'm good. And I know it's a series, but I have no interest in continuing it. So the next book is Sorry Not Sorry by Sophie Randalls. I started this book, I read 5 pages of it, and I knew I was not going to like it. It's corny, it's just not the writing style I like. So I'm like, I'm not going to try forcing myself to read a book that I know I'm not going to like. So I'm just going to take it to Half Price Books today as well and just be done with it. The next 3 are all companion novels. There's actually a total of 5, but I've read the first 2 and I'm just not a fan, and they all follow pretty much the same theme. That is the Wedding Party series, I suppose, by Jasmine Guillory. We've got The Wedding Date, The Proposal, and The Wedding Party. And there are 2 more. I can't remember the names of them, but I'm just not feeling it anymore. So I'm just going to move on from this series as well. The last 2 books that I have to unhaul is a duology, and the first one was American Royals by Catherine McGee. I absolutely adored this story. I thought it was perfect. It was really well done. However, I did not like Majesty, the follow-up to American Royals. So it's really hard for me to want to reread something when I know the follow-up to it is just not great. You don't really get the answers that you had going into Majesty. There's just a lot of back and forth that I didn't really enjoy. So overall, I don't think I'm ever going to reread them, so I'm just going to move on from the duology. That is my unhaul today. There are probably more books on my shelves that I'm like, I should probably just move on from them, but I can't bring myself to do it. So that's probably going to be another follow-up unhaul later on this year, especially when I go to redo my shelves. I'll probably find more books and I'm like, okay, Brittany, are you really going to read these? Who knows? That is everything for today. Be sure to subscribe to our channel. Callie and Bean put out videos every Tuesday and Thursday. I put out videos occasionally on some Sundays, and hit that little bell icon to get notified when we do post new videos. And if you like our videos, be sure to share them with your friends and family. Also, head over to our Instagram and Goodreads. All of our links will be in the description below, as well as a link to our Serpent and Badger book club. Until next time, bye.